Morning, District 120. Can you please unmute and confirm your presence? Good morning, District 120.
Good morning.
All right, it is a great Sunday, and this Sunday is very special because this is the last Sunday of the month, and of course, the lockdown is going to come, and the locks are open for us to have the member retention and, of course, to add new members into District 120. Here is the gateway. This District 120, the newborn infant, is presenting you one spectacular session, and this session is all about how to keep all the members without moving out of the club, how to invite the old members into the club, and how to keep the Josh consistent irrespective of the pandemic situation. There are challenges, of course, but we have experts in our District 120 who will take you throughout the entire year in all these arenas, and they'll make sure your club runs successfully and bags all the awards that is being given in the Hall of Fame, and make sure every member have the credibility of being in Toastmasters, and of course their aim to become distinguished Toastmasters, and for whatever aims they have. We have experts today, and out of which the first person whom I'm introducing to speak with you is a very great person with a very fantastic profile. But please wait. I have some basic guidelines to address you before we start into this meeting. And the basic guidelines goes like this: ensure you guys have a proper bandwidth, and of course, please mute and unmute whenever it is required. When you really want to speak up, please do it in the chat box or get connected with the host or co-host regarding your request. Of course, we do have a Q&A session, and we are sure we're not going to speak for more than 2.5 hours today, and we know this is your precious Sunday as well. So follow the basic guidelines, follow a good bandwidth, and you can even request the host for spotlight when it is required. Having said all this, I'm pretty sure all of you would really know the basic guidelines of an online meeting, the virtual meeting. Okay, I think I'm taking a long time to go with this guidelines. Let me have a quick introduction of our first speaker who's going to speak, and the first speaker is none other than is one of our trios. Now, how many of you really believe this person is an interesting person in the trio list? We know pretty well Satish Menon and Praveen Mani working with us in the last terms, and this person is no surprise, he's got lots of accolades. He has been a Toastmaster since 2006. He started his journey with a very basic officer term as a sergeant at arms, then moved on to the post of the secretary. He took responsibilities as vice president education, president, became the area governor then, and the division governor. He is the charter member of DXC Chennai chapter, and of course, he is a distinguished Toastmaster. On supporting the extended roles, he has taken positions of the Assistant Lieutenant Governor Marketing. He has also been the chair of the Toastmaster Leadership Institute, TLI, for Tamil Nadu, and presently he is our Club Growth Director for District 120. Ladies and gentlemen, let us break the suspense. It is none other than our Club Growth Director of District 120, distinguished Toastmaster Parthasarathi Daivasigamani, who will be the main person throughout this meeting. And of course, with respect to time, I'm not going to bore you in between. As a speaker proceeds to the next speaker, he shall pass on the screen with an introduction. So there is no disturbance of the EMC entering in between, and there is no transfer of EMCs as well. With no further ado and with no more boardings, let me hand over the screen to distinguished Toastmaster, Club Growth Director of District 120, DTM Parthasarathi Daivasigamani. Over to you. The screen is yours.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Vadivelu Ravanan. Dear Toastmasters, good morning. I warmly welcome you all on a sunny Sunday morning. Going by yesterday's weather, I thought there was going to be a lot of rain sound in the background today when we are having this session. But it seems a perfect day for Toastmasters. I'm glad to see members of the district leadership team, the division directors, area directors, and the extended team members who are here. If you are a Toastmaster, you are at the right place and at the right time. If you are a club officer, you should be here. If you are club vice president membership or vice president public relations, you definitely should be here, because this is a day on which we are discussing club campaigns. Before we move on, let me share my screen. Mastering club campaigns. Why would we essentially need club campaigns? That is a fundamental reason in campaigns, because it's there in our mission statement. If you look at Toastmasters International, our mission statement, it clearly says empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. That means the reason why we have Toastmasters itself is to have members or individuals become more better communicators and leaders. So our target, or the people who we are serving here, is the individuals. How is it different from what happens in our club? Let me open our club mission. The club mission is to provide a supported learning experience in which members are empowered. Now, if you see, there's a lot of similarity between and the empowering word. It's empowering here, empowering in Toastmasters mission, and at the club mission also we are empowering people. And it's same for the leadership skill, and it's same for communicators. But if you note, a big difference is what word that we use here. If we say individuals when we say the Toastmasters mission, and when it comes to club, we say members are empowered, which implies that when we want a person to benefit out of Toastmasters, the first step would be to have them join the fraternity, so that then they can have easy access to our mission, to easy access to our material, easy access to our program. Because Toastmasters is a program where somebody has to be part of the session, assimilate, accumulate, and then they have to read, then they will have to read whatever they have learned. So it is a session, it is a program where people have to be part of it to even have their first step. So that's important reason why we are having a membership campaign or a membership drive or any campaign for that matter, because the core of our principles is the members who would make the club. So now that we understood, okay, it's to convert an individual to a member, the first step is to make them be part of a club. So we already know that we have clubs and we have different clubs than we have. So how do we have these people join these clubs? That's what we're going to discuss. And that's why this program is specially designed for. Before we move on, you would like to know what are the different functions that the club growth team is actually doing. So the club growth team is not just for adding new members, but at the same, we do have different functions. And let me go over one by one. The first is the club extension team, or the new club team, which includes Speechcraft. This is the team which actually starts off working with different leads, trying to identify different places where we could actually have a club started, where there are individuals who are interested, and thereby if they can form a group and start a new club. If you're already in a community where there is a club, you are most likely to join a club. But if there is no such club, then you'll have to start off with a new club. So this is potential areas where they would have a club, where we would look at starting new clubs, and that's where this team will work on. The next team is the club coach team. There are situations when clubs go very low in number due to unforeseen reasons. But when that comes, Toastmasters also ensures that we have a team who will actually look into those clubs and try to see how we can revive those clubs. And that is exactly the club coach team. And finally, the team which we are actually looking at is the member retention team. Now, earlier it was called the membership retention, but we did make a conscious decision in our district to rename it to member retention. Because we realize it's not about just the membership that we are looking at. We want the member experience to be as a whole, and that member has to be retained, not just membership alone. So we are looking at giving members the best experience, and thereby making them part of the system, staying with the fraternity. And in this member retention team, you already met one of the chairs, that is Distinguished Master Vadivel Ravanan, and the next person is part of the training session also today. So this is the team that we have, Club Growth Extended Team, and in that team we are going to have these three teams function as well together. so that we give the best member experience. Let's look at our session trainers today. As I told you, we had two members in this member retention team, and one of them was Distinguished Toastmaster Vadivel Ravanan. The other person is this trainer today. Distinguished Toastmaster Raghavan Sridhar. Distinguished Toastmaster Raghavan has been a Toastmaster since the year 2012. And in his journey in this Toastmasters fraternity, he has been a member of various clubs, in fact, 3 to be precise, 3 different clubs. But he also has the experience in working with corporate clubs and community clubs as part of many campaigns. That's something which is very crucial, because you will know one type of clubs, but for the other type, you will have to be part of it. Now, he has been part of those campaigns as well. Not only that, he has helped charter 8 clubs and revive more than 10 clubs in his journey. He has also helped to set up 5 college clubs and has mentored 3 clubs in their as part of the mentoring program. He's passionate about Toastmasters and believes members are the core strength of this forum. He loves Toastmasters so much and believes strongly that this online meeting is also a true boon in disguise and a much needed dimension for the future of Toastmasters, because now you have an option of a hybrid model of having a online session as well as a in-person session. The next trainer we have today is Distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri. Distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri has been with Toastmasters for the last 7 years, and she has been associated with Toastmasters at different levels, at the club, at the area, and as the division as well. She has served as the area director and a division director, and more importantly, as the assistant club growth director for District 82, Tamil Nadu. She has served as the club sponsor for 2 clubs and also a club mentor for 3 clubs, and is currently serving District 120 as the District Logistics Manager. She has varied experience in club and membership building, because she has actually chartered a community club, a college club, and a corporate club right from the scratch. And she has added member by member and finally ensured that these clubs were chartered and they are running successfully. Now we have seen who are our trainers today. We have seen why we are doing this training. So let's get into the training right away. Are we ready? Can I have a thumbs up or a show of hands? Okay, thank you so much. Now let's look at what we are going to see today. The first and foremost is a general overview of what are the different types of campaigns and why do we have these campaigns in our clubs. The next is how we will handle new members. What are the different ways in which we can give our purpose, how we can communicate our purpose of Toastmasters to potential new members. The next is what are the different options in which we would have, where we can make sure that we have members stay with Toastmasters and ensure that they will have a successful journey. Then we'll also have a discussion about the most talked about back to home campaign that we have this year in District 120, where we are looking at trying to see if we can have our past members also part of our fraternity join us back again in Toastmasters. And also we would look at the awards, Medley Award, which is the award for the coming season. What are the tips and tricks for that particular award, and what are the criteria to get that award for your club? That's precisely what we are going to look at, and without waiting any more time, let us have our first trainer to proceed with the meeting. And let me welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Raghavan Sridhar on stage to help us guide through the rest of the session. Raghavan, the spotlight is yours.
Thank you so much, DTM Parthasarathi, our CGD. Thank you so much to all the Toastmasters who have joined. I sincerely and passionately believe Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. are actually midnight. So thank you all so much for having joined the session so early. I'm really glad that we are here and talking about some really important topics that will influence the way we consume Toastmasters. And there is a lot of there is a lot happening around us in the forum, and to take best use of everything that this forum has to offer, the core building blocks, like I said, I think Partha told you about it in my introduction as well. I believe the members are our core strength. The more members we are able to retain, and the more members we are able to bring in, the happier we are. As the adage goes, the more, the merrier. We will see about campaigns, about different types of campaigns, about how we can perform really well with different campaigns, and we'll see the core building blocks of some of the campaigns. To start off, I am going to share my screen, and I want some of you to tell me if you can actually see my screen. And don't raise your hands, so don't chat, or unmute yourself and please talk, because we need the energy flowing between each other. I love online meetings because of this. It starts always with a question, and I'm sure at least my mentors will be happy. They always told me start every speech with a question. So is my screen visible?
Yes.
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 Lovely. Thank you
Yes.
so much. So let's add spice to Sunday midnights, right? What is more difficult than getting up at 10 a.m. and joining a call? It's to discuss a little bit of mathematics. Well, so I consider campaigns as very important activities that we do in our Toastmasters journey. And there are obviously some key building blocks towards a successful campaign. Let's look at the LCM of a successful campaign. As you know, LCM is the least common multiple. So you put the different building blocks together, what is the least multipliable number or factor that these can give you when you put them together? That's LCM, right? But let me not complicate things too much for you. It's basically a triangle. A triangle has three vertices. A triangle becomes a triangle when all these three vertices are joined together. And I call this the LCM triangle for successful campaigns. And the least common multiple of L, C, and M is G and E. The least common multiple of L, C, and M is G and E. Let me explain. Learning, club, members. You do any campaign. Now there are different kinds of campaigns, okay? There are member addition campaigns, member renewal campaigns, PR campaigns whose intent is not to bring in members, but to take this, to market the club, or to take this club's reputation to more people, or just to, you know, highlight what are the different initiatives that your club is doing, your area is doing, or your corporate organization is doing, etc. There are also campaigns that whose major intention is to showcase to people how you can become better leaders. So there are various campaigns. Your imagination is the limit for campaigns. But the success behind a campaign lies in it addressing at least one of L, C, and M. Either the campaign must enhance or help in improving the learning of the members or the target audience, or the campaign must enhance and improve the reputation of a club, its brand, its reach, or it must help the members of the club, help them become more excellent, help them become better learners, help them improve their capabilities. So LCNM, so whenever you run a campaign, whatever campaign you run, remember LCNM. Your focus of that campaign, your end objective of that campaign must at least touch on L, C, or M. And when you do that, you achieve G and E, which is growth and excellence. Growth and excellence for a member, growth and excellence for the club, growth and excellence for the area, growth and excellence for the division and district, and even TMI. Right? Guys, while I appreciate energy flowing, I would also really request you, when you're not talking, to please go on mute so that we are able to, you know, use our energy in a much more channelized fashion. All right, so campaigns, L, C, M, G, and E. I hope it made some sense. try to digest it, because here is the key for every one of you. If you're running a campaign tomorrow, you might follow different techniques, you might follow different steps, you might have your own process to take it forward. But remember, at its core, the focus area must be either on L or C or M. The beauty of it is if you focus on even one of them, all other vertices will be influenced as well. And you know, the best campaign, most successful campaign will invariably one that touches on L, C, and M as clear objectives. Learning club and members, supporting growth and excellence. That's the core of LCM for you. Well, now that you have seen a core building block, let's talk about the first kind of campaign, member addition campaign, bringing in more members to the club. The best clubs are the ones that have so many variety, so many members from varied backgrounds that have so much variety to offer. So let's see some secrets and tips and tricks and processes towards building a really strong club. To do that, please help me welcome one of the people that I really look up to in Toastmasters, somebody who really changed my perception about leadership in Toastmasters back in 2017 when I traveled to Sri Lanka with her. We were there during the contest with her. Please help me welcome DTM Gayatri to talk about the first kind of campaign. Gayatri, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Raghavan, for taking the mathematics class and risking to take that on a Sunday morning. But good that it was not really mathematics, it was just a mathematical jargon and you ended the mathematics there. So I would also continue requesting you to unmute and speak if you have a point or if you think something maybe more challenging than what I say. So let me quickly share my screen and get into the session. So one of the most important aspect of sustaining a club, okay, sustaining a club is to add new members. Do you all agree with it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so if you agree, then maybe type in or unmute and speak. Why do you think we have to add members to sustain a club? Diversity, somebody says diversity, okay. Anything else?
The more the members, the more competitiveness.
More the members, the more competitiveness, okay. New ideas, new perspectives. See, all these are definitely important, but I'm talking about, I don't want to grow a club. We are like 20 members or 25 members. We are quite happy as a small group. Why do you think we have to add members to sustain this club? I feel that the club may not survive or it may not do as well as it is doing today if we don't add new members. Sustenance, yes, but why? Revenue, okay, somebody says revenue, okay.
Over a period of time, some members can't able to join it. So always the
Okay.
new members is really good for sustaining the club.
Okay. Okay, let's assume, okay, this is quite a valid point. Of course, we don't expect any member to be in the club for a lifelong period. So there may be times when they drop out and we need new members to replace them. Okay, let's assume this way that, for example, let's take a old age home, okay? People in their 50s and 60s, they have a club, they have a beautiful, enjoyable time there. And none of them are going to quit. So, do you think we have to add new members even there? It's a question to ponder. Few answers that I get, or I have seen clubs going through this phase, is that we still have to add new members. And the reason is because the Toastmasters core values is built upon learning from each other. You learn by helping somebody else learn. And in the process, everybody learns. And you will learn something from the other person. I hope you will all agree that when you mentor somebody, you will also learn a lot from your mentee. So when a new member comes, you may be very good at the Toastmaster knowledge, how to perform a timer role, how to perform a grammarian role, but the very point of approaching that person itself will be a learning. So for a club to sustain, for you to maintain that energy, it is very important to add new members. But then when we think of adding new members, it seems to be a very big challenge. Do you agree with me, or is it like very easy for us to add new members? You can ping here or you can speak, but then I will wait for your response before I proceed with that. Definitely tough, says Vignesh. Thank you. Agree, not easy. Okay.
Very challenging one to add new members, and that too in this pandemic time.
Pandemic times, okay. Yeah. So, see, adding new member is always a challenge. It's kind of a thought process that we have had. And let me also tell you, it's not an easy thing. But definitely it's not an impossible aspect as well, because there are clubs which has grown from just 2 to 3 members and thriving today with 30-40 members. So if you take any club for that matter, take a very established community club like a Chennai Toastmasters Club or Medley Toastmasters Club, today their membership base is somewhere around 80-90 members. So for them, membership addition is like, okay, if you come, we will add you. We have enough people to keep the meeting going. But still, if you see at one point, they also had a dip where they had only 5 members, 6 members were active. And from there, they have still added new members and grown forward. So let us see what are the common challenges or what is the process that we can follow. And definitely, one of them will help us add new members for whatever club we may be associated with. Okay. So I have structured my, so I call my session as expanding the empire, because today the theme of this session was all about adding new members and building our own empire. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Let me know when you can see my screen. Yeah.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Thank you for that acknowledgement. Okay, let's move on with this. So I have structured my session in to answer 4 simple questions: who, where, what, and how. That's all. To me, if you have the answers for these 4 questions, you would be able to tackle this new member addition. Okay. So before we get into the who, I want to ask you all a question through a poll, so that all of you would be participating. Okay. Let me launch this poll. I'll give you 45 seconds, so please answer this. Okay. Your polling screen should have popped up now. So please start voting. Who among the below may not benefit much from Toastmasters? So there's a college student, there's a CEO, there's a stay-at-home grandmother, and a stand-up comedian. Okay. Okay, it's very interesting to see your replies. I'll give another 20 seconds. Nice to see about 70% of you have already voted. So another 10 more seconds. Okay, so let me end the polling here. Okay, I got about 90% of polling, so it's nice. So most of you have felt that stay-at-home grandmother is probably the person who may not benefit much. But let me tell you, there are so many stay-at-home grandfathers and grandmothers who are actually more active than many of the members here. So, and the stand-up comedian. So I should probably tell you, there are at least 4 stand-up comedians whom I know who are thriving in the industry, who started their journey from the Toastmasters platform and are still active here. To name few famous people, I could probably tell you, I think most of you may be familiar with Alex. There is also Rajshekhar Mamidanna, and then there is upcoming stand-up comedian Chokkalingam. All of them started as a Toastmaster, and then they are still active as Toastmasters even after they are continuing with their journey. So the answer to that is actually all of them, immaterial of their profession, actually will benefit through Toastmasters. Okay, so probably I'll clarify a little on this grandmother part. Actually, we assume that people who are at home They are like, they are done with their life. They are just happy being at home. But no, they have a lot of energy and they are very keen in learning. They prepare speeches after speeches, and many of them have astonishing language that today we don't possess. They have a very solid foundation in grammar that they can actually challenge us in that. So if you think that any of the people whom you meet may not benefit from Toastmasters, just give a thought a little more. There you will find enough opportunities where they will also benefit through this beautiful fraternity. Okay, so let me continue with this. On let's see, if we approach somebody, or if we find that somebody may be benefiting out of this program, what is it that we have to do, or how is it that they will benefit? Okay, so I have 4 categories of people here: the college students, okay, and working professionals. So let's start with the college student. So I have seen that college students who are part of Toastmasters have a very different attitude even before they come out of college towards corporate and real life challenges. So I have worked with a couple of colleges: Loyola, Panimalar, IITM Research, IIT Madras. So all of them, when they enter the Toastmasters journey, I've seen a couple of students who transform into a very different extent. To quote an example, when I had the division conference, the college students were very happy because for them it was like a college fiesta and it brought in a lot of energy. I was also very happy to see them lead the conference. And our division conference, for some reason, was running ahead of time. So we had a long lunch break, and still we had some time before the next chief guest or the addressing person is yet to arrive. So these college students, even without we giving a lot of thought, I saw that suddenly after the lunch there was some music played. I mean, we were actually playing the music to ensure that it was not very silent there. Suddenly I saw that a couple of college students climbed up to the stage, and then they started dancing, they started entertaining the crowd, and eventually many people started joining them, and it was a beautiful medley of people coming there and bringing in a lot of energy. So that was not planned, that just came in as a filler. And I was wondering who was it who initiated. I was getting like, who gave this idea, who is going to come and dance. I was little skeptical when it was happening. And finally, when I came to know, it was a second year college student. He said, "Ma'am, I saw that people were inside the hall, they were all chatting between them, and I saw few were not getting entertained. So I thought we should do something to keep them occupied." So this is a leadership quality. It's not about the dance or the entertainment. It's about he being able to see what people were going through and take it forward. So that, I believe, is a true leadership quality. And that doesn't happen in the blink of a second, or you can't really sit and teach people. It just happens through experience, and that's how college students experience. So working professional, I don't think we have to talk much about working professionals' experience in Toastmasters transforming them. I, for one person, have learned the nuances of project management and people management, especially. Project management can at least be understood from others, but people management, dealing with people, is very, very difficult. And everybody is unique. That's the difficulty. It's not that people are difficult. So for that, the more people you meet, the more you interact with them, the more you make mistakes, then you get to learn a lot through Toastmasters. So, and of course, talk about somebody who is at home, who is probably not employed. They still find new channels of utilizing their time and energy. I have personally seen few of my friends who gave up on their career and were at home. And when we talked about Toastmasters, they primarily came there for gavel clubs. Okay, they brought in their children to gavel clubs, and then we said, you can also become a Toastmaster. You will be able to help your child better. This was their reason that was given to them. And finally, when they became a Toastmaster, they started visiting what they were to give their speeches. And then they realized that they have probably given up on something. And then they started working on that. So that was the beauty of Toastmasters. And today I see that they are budding entrepreneurs doing some small scale work from their home and then earning a revenue that gives them a different kind of confidence and positive attitude. After all, the end of the Toastmasters, whatever, when we add a member or when we give an experienced member, we want them to get better in their life or career or whatever they intended to, right? So you have an opportunity to do that to a lot of people out there. So you potentially, any person whom you meet can be a member either in your club or in some other club. But there is a very, very important point here. Don't do this, okay? Do not talk about Toastmasters to any and every person whom you meet. Don't ask them to join, okay? Don't ask them to join. Let me be very clear. It should not become like a marketing where you go and talk. I mean, whoever you meet, you go and talk to people only to add them to Toastmasters. Don't do that. Instead, talk about your experience and how it transformed you. And second thing is, tell them if they are facing a specific problem. When you talk to somebody, for example, you may be having a relative who comes and says, I'm not sure if my son would be able to crack the job interview. He's a bit shy. He's not very outspoken. I'm not sure how he will speak. You can suggest that he attends few meetings, okay, and then decides if he is comfortable and if he to help him, okay. So do inform people, and everybody whom you meet can be a member, but more importantly, do not just try to make everybody a Toastmaster, okay. Now let's the core is, when you have to get somebody into Toastmasters, make them realize their why. So if they realize my why, if I realize my why, I'll be very happy to explore what is Toastmasters, okay. So in a crux, a student gets a head start at his career. So even before he gets into a corporate, he understands the nuances of leadership which is expected out of him or her. Professionals, of course, they can always get ahead of the curve. I've seen all the Toastmasters who are my colleagues having an edge over their peers, be it a fresher, be it a senior manager, be it a mid-level person or a technical architect. Everybody, they have a different place in their project because of Toastmasters. It could be their presentation skill, it could be their communication skill, it could be their organization skill. If somebody who is a Toastmaster is asked to organize a small event because the CEO is coming, they wouldn't hesitate as much as the other person, right? So there is always a slight niche that everybody gets out of being a Toastmaster. So when you meet somebody and you think that person will benefit out of Toastmasters, make them realize that part. And more importantly, find your best version. Become better at what you are doing. You are the best brand ambassador. So when people look at you, they should come and ask you, what is it that has transformed you? You let me know. I also want to do that. So when you start working on yourself, that itself would attract a lot of new people to your club. Okay. Now we have seen who. So okay, I feel that there is everybody out there in the world can be a Toastmaster, but where do I approach them, right? This is probably the next question that we have. So for colleges, surprisingly, the people who could help us identify new members were the professors. Those professors were not part of the club. When we had to add new members in both the colleges that I was working as a division director, both Panimalar and Loyola, we spoke with few professors. We directly went and met them. We didn't want them to be a Toastmaster. Okay, let's be very clear. They are open to come and see the club meetings and they can understand how it works. But we told them what benefit it could give for the student fraternity. So when a professor saw that there was a good student who was very good at his knowledge, but was a little shy in communicating, the professor was able to recommend Toastmasters, ask them to attend a couple of meetings, and then they eventually became members. So professors actually are, listened to. Many students still follow what their professors say. So they are very good influencers. So in a college, it could be a professor. Sometimes I've seen that very good students are also good influencers. So there may be one or two students in your club, or if you are area director, one of your clubs, that you have to identify who is the person who is able to influence more people. So if you talk to that person, they will be able to bring in new members. So when I say bring in new members, they are all potential members. They will be guests. So how do we convert these guests into members? That again we will see. Okay. First thing is bringing in more guests. Second thing, when it comes to a company, a senior manager is a very good influencer. Again, don't to talk to that person for them to join. because what I've seen, especially in corporate clubs, senior management people may be very impressed by the Toastmasters club, but they may not be able to be part of the club. Especially don't ask them to come and take an XCOM role or something unless they are really willing to. So once they are part of the club, they can probably not be able to be very active because of their timing constraints. But then you talk to the senior manager, ask them to send few members from their project to attend only 3 to 4 meetings. Don't ask them to commit to a membership at that point of time. Tell them that he can send few of his members for a meeting or two. Or we even did, one of our corporate clubs, we did this campaign where we approached about 4 to 5 project managers. The agreement was each of them will send about 3 to 4 people from their projects, very identified list of people, and they will attend the Toastmasters meeting, 2 meetings, that's all. Okay, now no commitment to membership, nothing about membership we speak. We say, please ask them to come and see what happens here. And you know what happened? Because we picked only 5, those 5 felt very privileged from their project. Okay, it was like appreciation that the manager gave for the members. They said, okay, we want to help few people to work on their communication, so these are the nominated people. And eventually when they attended a couple of meetings and ensured that whenever they come, they are given a chance to speak at least through table topics or at least as a guest feedback. Okay, so they all spoke, and then they realized, okay, there is something that we can actually improve through this forum. And then they started coming regular. Of course, there were also dropouts, but then when we approached about 4 to 5 managers and we got people from every project coming in a week on week, the audience crowd was good. So the members also brought a lot of new innovative ideas and their energy started flowing. And because of the energy, when new people came in, they started becoming a member. So the first step is to find out the influencers who can help us get more people. And then they may not be the actual people who may be able to join at that point of time. So but just start getting people through them. And of course, the third person, like I said, is you. You are the best influencer. So when you talk to people, carry yourself and talk about your experiences. You can say, you know what, I prepared this speech and then I delivered the speech. It really went well. I am so happy and proud of it. You know what the evaluator said? You know, one of the audience member came and said this to me. All these things you can share it to your circle. Do not ask them to, you should also become a member. Do not end with that. Okay, just leave it open. Just share your experiences. Let people understand what's happening and then come and ask you what is happening. Okay. Now moving on to the next question of what. So what should you do when now you have all the guests coming in? What do you think you can do? First thing, socialize with them. Okay, especially because now it's a virtual meeting. What happens? The interaction opportunities are very less. So as a VP membership or a vice president public relations, your job does not end with a member coming into the club. Ensure that the members are talked to. So ensure that you join the meeting about a few minutes early, at least 5-10 minutes early, and see if there are any new guests out of your campaign. Okay. If somebody has dropped in, say hi to them. Tell them, you know what, this is our president. He will be starting the meeting. And you can introduce that person to your president. For them, president is a big person. Okay. So they will feel really happy and proud. And when the president says, today we have a guest, and it becomes easier for the president also to introduce. And if possible, if you have about a lot of them, ask them to stay back. After the meeting is over, after the meeting is adjourned, you can say, the guests, please stay back. We would like to have a couple of words with you. Sometimes it may happen that the president may not be able to take feedback from everybody. So ask them to stay back for another 5-10 minutes. If the meeting has already overrun, don't ask them to stay back. Give them a call back. Very important. Give them a call back and talk to them. So talk to the people. First step is socializing. In that process, you will also get better with your social skills. And second thing, do not talk about membership in your first or second interaction unless they ask you. Okay, if they ask you also, just sidetrack it. Tell them, yeah, it comes with a fees, but we will speak that later. Just attend for another 1 or 2 meetings, realize what is happening here and see if it will work for you. Then we can speak about membership fees. If they really insist, tell them we pay somewhere about 500 to 600 rupees per month. That's how much it comes to. Okay, then it doesn't look like $45 is like dollars means it's too much. So don't speak in terms of dollars at that time. Offer them a couple of small roles if your club allows that. So give them a timer role or an accountant role. If that is not working, I mean, that's not something that you follow in your club, insist that they take up the table topic speech. Next week, talk to the table topic master to include this person. And finally, after they are little comfortable, after 2-3 weeks, talk to them about membership and ask them to sign up right away. Do not encourage them to attend as a guest for about 10 to 20 meetings. They will not consider taking membership at all. It's not that we don't want to give it for free to somebody. It's because they will not benefit out of it. Unless you have a structured learning, you start giving your prepared speeches, you may not enjoy the fruit of Toastmasters. So eventually they'll feel it's just table topic, I am good at it, so it's fine, and then they may not consider membership. So 3 to 4 weeks after 2 to 3 meetings, please talk about membership and ask them to sign up. So how? So I mean, I want to do all this. Are there any resources or people outside who can help me? The entire district or the TMI is working with you for that. So you can reach out to your area director or a division director if you need any help, if you don't know how to approach somebody, or if you think that there may be about 5 to 10 people joining on a particular meeting. You've talked to so many people and you're expecting them. Then invite your area director or your division director or ask them for arranging an educational session. Keep something interesting, okay? And you don't have to do it alone again, right? So when they see that few more people come and speak, it's a good opportunity. Also review your club quality checklist. So if your club is lacking energy, maybe ask your members to fill this and see what you can work on along with the XCOM and take it forward. Now, I would like to wrap up this session with 2 things on next steps of action. What is it as a VPPR you should do? What is it as a Vice President membership you should do? So as a Vice President Public Relations, initiate the campaign. So this is your responsibility. So you discuss with your XCOM, see what you have to do. And then talk to your members also. Say that we are going to do a campaign for new member addition. We require all your cooperation. Let's celebrate the Toastmasters and enjoy the new guests for a few weeks. So start with creating the flyers, creating videos, creating any sort of buzz in the social media. So today the meetings are all virtual and online. So primarily we are going to publicize it in the social media. In a real-time meeting, you can also print flyers and distribute it to a set of audience, okay? And then publicize it. I think 2 main medias where you can publicize are WhatsApp and Facebook. So in WhatsApp, you can send the flyers to all. Apart from that, request your members to keep it as status for a day or 2, especially when you're concentrating on the PR campaign. We have seen that when members just keep it as their status or profile picture, their friends are very curious and they feel more welcome to join a Toastmasters meeting. Okay, and of course publicize it in Facebook. It's very good to reach out to a larger audience. So these are 2 major medias. If your club is active on other medias like Instagram, Telegram, I mean, use all the social media channels and use other channels also if you have in-person meeting. And finally, what you should do, you should ensure that it is reaching the fraternity that you intend to. For example, if it is a corporate group, they may not be very active on a WhatsApp or a Facebook group. But see, if you have an internal guest distribution list that you have, where people who have attended all through are added, you can send it to them. Okay. And if you have any company portals, many of the companies have internal portals where members can, employees can publicize their achievements and all. If you have an opportunity, do put it there as well. Okay. Now, what is it that the Vice President membership should do? All the publicizing part is taken care by PR. Once the guests come here, please make them feel comfortable. Talk to them before or after the meetings. And very importantly, send a follow-up message. At least send a mail or a WhatsApp message saying, it was very nice to see you here today. Please do join us next week. Very simple message. They'll feel very good about it. Like I said, offer them a role, encourage participation in table topics, and keep tracking their attendance until they sign up for membership or until they say, no, I'm not interested at this point of time. Until then, keep tracking. So this comes to you as a leadership opportunity to see how much you can track things forward. Okay. So what is it that you will get as a person First thing is the beautiful satisfaction of seeing people transform. They'll be very, very happy. You know, you will feel very good about yourself for doing something good when you see somebody doing better in their speeches for no reason of yours. And it needs a lot of persistence. You will face challenges. Not everybody will be cooperative. But when you reach that goal, you will know that this is how something is done. And from Toastmasters, there is also an individual recognition for any member who brings in at least 5 members. They will get this pin. The only thing is, as a VP membership, when you add that person, when you add the new member, you have to mention the sponsor details. You will have an option in the TMI portal when you add them. If you have queries, you can, we can connect offline on how to do this. But remember that if you have added the 5 members out of your own effort, remember to take the credit. And if somebody else has helped you, give them that credit. And this is a pin that will be directly shipped to the club or your address from TMI. So you will definitely get this. And I've personally seen so many people getting these pins and wearing it very proudly. It's just a sign of your accomplishment. There is also a club recognition, which is Medley Award, which we will cover during the later part of this session. Okay. So there is one more thing I wanted to show. When you are doing this PR, remember that you don't have to create everything from scratch. You have a lot of resources on this site, toastmasters.org/resources. So you have flyers, you have brochures, you have everything in TMI standard format, very professional looking ones. You just have to add your club details and you can use that for your promotion. So, so in crux, what I wanted to say was, you have to remember who are the people who are potentially your members, which is literally everybody, but don't go and market to them. Second thing is, where do you find them or how do you reach them is through their influencers primarily, if you cannot reach to them individually. Third thing is, when they come here, what you should do is ensure that they are comfortable and then they are offered a role before you talk about their membership. And finally, you have the entire district and the Toastmasters International available to help you in terms of your resources, in terms of any physical presence, in terms of facing challenges. So membership addition is a very difficult thing to do because many of us have not tried that. But remember, it's not impossible. And when you do that, even if you add only 1 member and you see them transform, it will be a very, very important memory for you to hold on into your life. So do give a try and add a lot of members and strengthen this empire, because we believe on mutual learning, and let us bring a strong empire together. I hope you had a understanding of what we have to do to add new members. I have a few questions here. I'll take just 2 of them and then maybe I'll wrap up this session. Could you please share more details on the membership recognition? Is it during the period or a term? Can it be done for those who have been on board without mentioning the sponsor name earlier? So this happens per year, Toastmaster year, from July to next June. If you add members within the 12 month, if you add 5 members, you get a recognition pin. Unfortunately, I don't think there is a opportunity to add a sponsor later, but you can write to TMI if it is a genuine case, and if they consider it, probably you can also loop in the member to acknowledge that this person only invited them, then it might work. Is it possible to claim PDUs or PMI or PMP out of Toastmasters? Guests can be given the credentials like 1 PDU, etc. Advice. PMP does give some PDUs for Toastmaster roles, but not for the guests. It will be if you play the role of a Toastmaster of the day, or if you give prepared speeches, or if you give educational sessions, those are considered for PDUs. This can be used as a point to motivate project managers to join. But I don't think without a membership, you get any PDU. Can we have some ideas for campaigns and Toastmaster recognitions? So the campaigns that you can run are primarily, now we are all in virtual platforms, so you can create flyers and distribute it for a targeted audience. So you have to see, it could be your corporate group, it could be through your senior managers, it could be through college professors, it could be primarily, you have to understand who can influence and through them. And also encourage your members to bring in their guests for a period of time, so that you can create a lot of buzz during that time, and you can add in new members. Rotary collaboration, probably I leave that to Partha to answer. Is there a public WhatsApp group for all vice president membership? So I think that also I leave Partha to answer if you have a WhatsApp group for all VPMs. So the sponsor of 5 be done in the same term. Yes, it is the same term, but the term is 1 year from July till June. So if you start adding members now, you have until next June to finish adding the 5 members. So any member who adds 5 members will be given this pin and recognition. So I have 2 questions for Partha. I think we can take it up during the later session. One last question, what is PDO and PMI? Okay, so there is a PMP, which is an organization, and they offer a certification called Project Management Professional, and it's very popular among all the project managers. The caveat of the certification is they have to maintain their knowledge and they have to renew their membership, I think every 3 years or 5 years. So over the 5 years, they should prove it to PMP that they were active and they were learning. So as a part of learning, they should also be teaching others. So all the sessions, Toastmaster International is accredited, or it acknowledges whatever you do here as a value addition for your project management skills. You can reach out to me in person, or you can Google for more information. We can take it forward. But if you are a PMP certified person and you need PDOs, you can use Toastmaster platform for that. Few of my colleagues do that already. So with that, I'll conclude my session. And we will move on to a very important aspect of member retention, which is also, equally challenging. New member has a different challenge, and existing member retention is even more important and crucial. So to speak more on that, we will have our mathematics professor for today, and I can assure you he's not going to speak mathematics, but he will speak more of Toastmaster and club membership. So Raghavan Sridhar, spotlight is all yours now.
Thank you so much, DTM Gayatri. I think that was such a lovely paced, beautifully orchestrated, excellently explained segment. Thanks a lot. Well, Toastmasters, those of you who have either had siblings or have 2 children at home might know this pain. When a new entrant comes into the family, or when you are focused on the newborn, you know what happens to the older one, right? The sense of competition, sense of, okay, why does that baby get all the milk? In Toastmasters, I've put this very lightly, but there are a lot of Toastmasters who sometimes get this feeling, okay, my club is focused on bringing more people in, of course, to directly help me, but then, okay, come on guys, I am the older sibling, give me something as well. So we are going to talk about member retention. It's something very close to my heart. It's also a role I'm playing this year, member retention co-chair. So let's discuss a little bit about what we can do and must do to keep the existing members happy and to help them flourish. Once again, I am going to share my screen, and I would need your support to tell me if my screen is visible. Unmute yourself and let me know.
It is visible.
It is.
Thank you. Right, so the first thing about member renewal campaigns, the one thing that we must all bear in mind is it is not a sprint, it is a marathon. It's not something we do during one small window in a year or at a convenient time for us. It is a continual activity that must keep going on and on. When you want to retain the existing members, when you want to help them flourish and become better versions of themselves by continuing their membership in Toastmasters as well, it cannot be done during just one small interval. So VPMs, XCOM officers, whoever is there here, remember, it is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So please prepare yourself for an exciting and a long haul event. Second, a member renewal campaign or member retention cannot be done by one individual. It is not just the role of VP membership. It's not just the role of VPPR. It's not just the role of a president. It's the role of all of us. very least we do is just renewing our own memberships. The maximum that we can do is be very active in supporting the executive committee, supporting the club, supporting the area, the division, the district, and even TMI as a whole in retaining our members. When I say as a whole, you scale up, correct? So you know there are people in the club who for various reasons might have to move to some other place, but they need to continue as Toastmasters. It is our job collectively to make the experience of Toastmastering so lovely that people want to continue remaining in the forum. The experience is so rewarding, so enriching that people want to continue renewing. So let's remember once again the building blocks, like the LCM, the building blocks here. Member renewal campaigns are not short sprints, they are marathons. And it's not an individual activity, it's a group activity. All of us must come together to make the experience more rewarding. Right, so how do we go about doing it? What are the fundamentals of a member renewal campaign? What are the things we must do continually and consistently to have better rewards, better results, to have more and more people staying back? What are the things that we must do to make the entire experience so elevating and enriching? First, F, fulfill. Fulfill the needs of a member. Different members join the Toastmasters Club for different reasons. All of you here, 70 plus people, each of you have at least one specific reason. It might actually be 70 different reasons. It is the responsibility of all of us and the executive committee of a club to ensure that every member is able to achieve his or her goals and desires. Their desires are fulfilled. The popular adage is like this, right? If you get out of Toastmasters what you want to get out of Toastmasters, you will never get out of Toastmasters. If you get out of Toastmasters what you wanted to get out of Toastmasters, you will never get out of Toastmasters. Simply put, if you are able to fulfill your desires and goals, you will never leave Toastmasters. I have been with the forum 8 years, Gayatri 7, Partha since 2006, I forget mathematics, 14 years. 14 years in Toastmasters. Why will someone do that? Because year after year, month after month, week after week, day after day, Partha is able to get something out of this forum. That's the beauty of this forum, isn't it? So you need to be able to get what you want out of this forum. So first of all, as an executive committee member, as a club member, as a fellow Toastmaster, our job is first of all to see what a member needs when they join. So whatever you do in the member addition campaigns, that becomes your input. Understand members and work towards fulfilling their needs. Second, tell me a word that starts with E and maybe is a technique or is something that we must do to get more people to stay within the forum.
Encourage.
Encourage, lovely point. Let's sophisticate that word a little bit. Let me become your English teacher. Encourage is almost right, but give me some more. Give me some more words.
Engage.
Engage, lovely word again. Very close.
Empower.
Empower. Oh, you're getting closer and closer.
Support.
So, start with E. Start with E. Start with E. Question again, please. Okay. What is maybe the next thing that we must work towards? So first thing, we work towards fulfilling our members' needs. What else is something we should work towards? Starting with E, to make members renew or to make members stay back. Enable and educate, very close relatives of the word.
Engage.
Something else. Think about height, okay? That's the maximum I'm telling you.
Elevate.
Elevate, yes. As Toastmasters, we have the unique opportunity of playing a great role in elevating a Toastmaster, making them better, elevate their skills, elevate their capabilities, elevate their personalities completely. When someone who joins struggles to speak a few words, and after a year is able to inspire audience, they can see that their own reputation has gone up, their own capabilities have gone up, their own confidence has gone up. It has happened not just because of their work, it has happened because of the environment around them, because how all of us have been able to come together, stay within the Toastmasters philosophy and elevate people up. Now you might be able to see now, this is not a short-term activity, correct? You cannot elevate somebody with just a few table topic speeches. Of course, we can make a difference, but to truly elevate them, we need to work consistently. Remember to help people elevate themselves. Okay, next up, another E. Give me another word with E that talks about retention of members.
Encourage.
Okay, a tip for you. Don't speak of any of the words that we have already seen on the chat.
Engage.
Okay, new words. Sorry?
Engage.
Ensure, engage. Engage, we already discussed. Something else, something else.
Excel.
Excel. That's almost a close relative of elevate, but good try. Emphasis,
Excite.
emphasize. No, okay, excite. Excite, yeah.
Entertain.
Close, close. Entertain. Okay. Entertain, fair enough, but not the word I'm looking for. Emphasize.
Empower.
Empower, elevate, slightly closer, but yeah, I can understand empower. Let me give you a clue. Let me give you a clue. It starts with E, ends with E. Second letter is M. Enrich. Okay, something related to hug.
Empathy.
No.
Embrace.
Embrace. Yeah, I made it easy, did I? Embrace. This is something that can truly be the difference between a member continuing for a long term and leaving after his first year, his or her first year. I'll explain. Today, the world is divided with a lot of things, correct? There is a lot of barriers, or there's a lot of divides today in our society than there was in our earlier days. So today, there are few people who get a lot of opportunities, who get a lot of privileges, and then there is another set of people who get the opposite. Take COVID, for example. The virus has actually divided the entire world, hasn't it? There are those who are privileged, and then there are those who have access to the best facilities, best safeties and securities, who can still, like all of us, work from home without any problems. And then there are so many entrepreneurs, so many other people who depend on being able to go out for their livelihood. So the world is in itself loaded with differences. And this world comes together in a Toastmasters forum. And we must ensure all of those differences stay at the door. And within this community, we are one group. We help each other with equal opportunities, with equal learning, with equal elevation support, with equal space to express views. It is our job as a club to have no bias, to have no differences, to have no infrastructure deprivances. Or say, for example, if there are members in your club, there are 50 members in your club, only 20 can access Zoom, there are 30 who can't. We as Toastmasters within the club have a moral responsibility to figure out what can be the universal platform for everybody to access this forum. Similarly, speech slots, training sessions. When we go do YLPs, we need to take the whole club together. Expose everybody to everything that Toastmasters platform has to offer. Give everybody equal weight and equal focus. Embracing people. And the moment we all get to do all of the things that are available in Toastmasters, all of the things that you said, right? Emphasize the learning, educate people, engage them, entertain them, empower them. Everything happens when we look at people as equal, when we embrace everybody as the same, regardless of skill sets, regardless of backgrounds, regardless of the capabilities when they join. It is our job to take them all together forward. Like I said, a marathon, not a sprint. Finally, the core philosophy of Toastmasters, and I know it already completes the top row. I will explain that a little bit. Tell me, what do you think? Yes. stands for? Chats coming up. Yes, somebody's unmuted. Talk to me. Sustain. Yeah.
Support.
Service.
Service. Yeah. Somebody already said support service, but the word that I had put on this slide is serve. Serve them. Serve with them. Help them serve others. We need to create a platform, a space that can help people get served, and that can help people serve along with us, and then that can help people to independently serve more people. Because we individually may be able to touch one life, but collectively, each of us can touch millions of lives. It is our responsibility to give every member the opportunity to serve, the ability to serve. But before that, we must be able to serve them, help them, be empathetic towards them, be honest towards them. Yes, some of it is covered in embrace, but service is in itself a separate entity, something that has a lot of value. So if you look on screen, you can already see when you want to retain members, when you want them to renew their membership, you ask them to pay the fees. But remember, we must pay the fees to them before we can ask them to pay theirs. We must pay them a fee before we can ask them to pay us something. And our fees is fulfilling their goals and needs, is elevating them, is to embrace them as equals and to help them ultimately serve more people by serving them first. FEES on your screens. Well, we did see fees, but then there are ways in which we have to address the membership renewal cycles as well. While this is a long haul, while this is an activity we do over a long period of time, there are individual independent milestones that we can, pause at to see if whatever we have done till now has yielded any results. Let's look at it. Let me call this maybe the process of having a better health in terms of member renewal cycles. Firstly, like it shows on the screen, are conversations, continuous conversations. And this is where VP memberships have to really focus. You see, there are some views coming up on the chat. I will come to it a little bit. There are, like I said, you look at all your existing members as the elder siblings, okay, and new members as the younger ones. When more young energy comes in, don't forget the old ones. So have continuous conversations with the members over a period of time. And it need not be dedicated one-to-one times. If you can, it's great. But if your club has a lot of members, then it might become too much for you. But then as XCOM, have coffee breaks with your club members, have fun meetings with them. Now, during this online, there is something that I really noticed in Medley Toastmasters clubs last week when I visited them. So I don't know if every club is following it, but for me, it was new. Once their meeting was over, before adjourning the meeting, the president, DTM Thomas, called out stating, guys, we will adjourn the meeting now, but please stay back on the same bridge and let's have a casual conversation. And then the meeting was adjourned. Some people had to leave, they left, which left us about 20-25 people on the call. And each of the 25 people were engaged in a conversation that went for about 15-20 minutes. Just asking around, how are you doing? How are things going? Is there anything that you want to discuss with the XCOM one-to-one? Is there anything that I can help you? Of course, you can email, but maybe we can talk. There was some very intimate club business. Then there was general feedback. Everything came out to the platform. So for a guest like me, I was able to understand the intimacy in the club, the internal discussions also in the club going on, and then I was also able to give feedback. So that's a beautiful way in which in today's digital world you can connect. Of course, if you're meeting in person, needless to say, stay back after the meeting. Just look at all your registered existing members as well. Have a conversation. Are we paying you our fees? Are your goals being fulfilled? Are we helping you elevate yourself? Are you embraced as an equal participant? Are you able to serve the forum? Keep discussing with them over a period of time, over and over again. Second, and this is perhaps the most tangible thing that we must do, very important. Let me ask you this as a question. What are our renewal cycles? When do we pay the renewal fees to Toastmasters? There are 2 times in a year. What are the months we pay?
October to March and April to September.
April to September, right? So October to March, April to September. When do we collect the membership dues for the October to March cycle?
By September 15.
September 15th, right? Okay. Any other answers? Any other club does anything different? I'll tell you, Ericsson Toastmasters Club, we do it between September 15th and September 30th only. Okay. That's our general speed. Yeah, we try to start early, but around that time only. Okay. What else do you do? When do you start? All of you around September 15th? Any other answers? July mid. Somebody is saying July mid. Emphasis Chennai Toastmasters. So by now, it means you have already collected the renew. Can we have our president of Emphasis Toastmasters? Are you available in audio, sir? Can you?
Yeah.
This is interesting for me.
Yeah,
So
right.
by now, you have already collected the member dues for the September cycle.
Yeah, you are right. Actually, we started to see how we can collect because September 1st is the salary date. We interacted with the members and see that by August and September we need to pay the money. It is not that we are fulfilling the entire collection, but we are initiating that so that they can plan.
Oh, lovely. If that is possible, nothing like that. Yeah, you've actually taken me by a very pleasant surprise. But what I was about to suggest is, see, September 30 is when norm is actually, if you are going to be very lazy, if I can use that word, collect dues until then for October to March cycle. The best renewal cycles, the most, how do I put this? The way in which you can have the least blood pressure as the executive committee and also help the entire process easy for your members is if you start around the first week of August to discuss about renewals and renewal fees. You cannot go to so this is a very bad habit to go to the members at around September 1st week, 2nd week and tell them, hey guys, you have to pay up the fees in maybe a week or two, pay up. That's not going to work. That feels like you are making them pay. They are not investing, they are paying. So that is not the right spirit to go about. So if you're already doing, like Emphasis is doing, starting the conversations middle of July, and then between July, August, and early September, you're able to spread it out, make people send in their contributions, or make people invest in the forum during this 2.5 month cycle. It's best. I would recommend starting off around August, first week of August and first week of February, encouraging the conversation, telling people that the renewal cycles are coming up and they can pay their fees at a best time between this window, and then you give them the space to breathe. And then you can also tell them between these times, if there are any things that you want to do, anything that you want to discuss before you renew a membership, any promises you want us to keep or remind us of anything, let us know. And that's the best way to go about it, because there are, like our president said, there are different people who get salaries at different dates, right? There are entrepreneurs, there are lawyers, there are doctors, there are, of course, in corporates, there is a fixed date, but then we are having an entire mix of people. Remember, we embrace everybody. So start it off at least 45 days in advance and then take it forward. Remember one thing, if you are a corporate club who's paying using wire transfer, the wire transfers take anywhere between 45 days to 90 days for Toastmasters International to receive your payment. And it is proven that wire transfers have the ability to confuse. Either the transfers come late, or they come in different names, or they end up in a different account. So there are a lot of complications with respect to wire transfer. So if you are a club that is not paying by credit card, that is going by wire transfer, you must try to pay the fee 45 days at least before the deadline, so that it reflects properly and there are no confusions. Okay. Of course, Toastmasters will back credit it if it comes late to them and all that, but it's a hassle we can best avoid. Third, and the final point that I wanted to cover in this slide is to have a process. As a club, set up a process, set up a best practice, set up a legacy for progeny to follow. Tell them this is what we do every month, and around August month is when we will start the first conversation about renewals, and about Feb is when we will start the renewals conversations going. Set up a clear process, detail if possible, document if possible. In today's world, documentations still work. Despite Agile, it still works if we document it because of the number of handovers, correct? It's not the same team that keeps going, it's a changing team. So document it. Around August, around Feb is when we will start discussing. When we start discussing, we will talk to members about the fees we have paid them. We will tell them that this is an investment from their behalf. It is the way that they can take more out of this Toastmasters, and create a good document explaining to them what is in it for them, so that they can renew. Remember, our intention is not to collect that money alone. Our intention, like Partha said, like DTM Gayatri said, is to help members improve, and the way they can do that in Toastmasters is by continuing with their membership. Because only if you continue as a member, you have access to everything Toastmasters offers, right? So tell them what they can take out of this forum, and then talk about renewals. Okay. Okay. What happened? PPT. Right. I think I have I've covered membership renewal campaigns. A quick jog back of your memory. Remember, renewal campaigns are not short sprints, they are marathons. Remember, nobody can do this alone. Remember the fees we pay to members, fulfilling their goals. What comes next? Fulfill goals. E for?
Elevate.
Speak. Elevate.
Elevate.
Embrace.
Embrace. So.
Lovely. FEES. Ensure you pay your fees to members before you ask them to pay theirs. Have frequent conversations as executive committee, as VPMs. Have a good cycle in mind. Don't rush people too much. At least 45 days in advance. If you are using wire transfer, definitely more than 45 days in advance. Have a clear checklist, have a clear documentation, write down everything, learn lessons learned, error logs, whatever you can put in, so that it becomes easy for everybody else. If you have any questions, let me take some questions. I already saw a view that had come. I wanted to touch upon that view, but now I have to scroll through the chat. Give me a second. We are also okay. In corporate clubs, it's a challenge. Members are joining due to some pressure from his or her boss. Yeah. See, that is what I'm saying. We are not salesmen. We are not bringing in. We are not selling them anything. They are here to elevate them. So okay, let me address it this way. Even if somebody's boss pushes them to join a club, a member stays not because of his or her boss. A member stays because they find value in this forum. It is our responsibility to show them and give them that value. So let them come in for whatever reason, okay? That is beyond your control. If you have not actively campaigned and brought them in, why somebody walks into that door is not in your control. But why somebody walks out is in your hands, is in your control. Let's control what we can control. I'm taking MS Dhoni's words here. What's out of your control, don't worry about it. If they come in, yeah, they may come in for whatever reasons. But if we can show them what is in it for them, they will never walk out. If you get what you wanted to get out of Toastmasters, you will never get out of Toastmasters. Right. Okay. Roshni says we are also facing the same challenge of many joining just because boss asked. Like I said, you can't control why they walk in. You can control why and if they walk out. Yeah, thanks. Okay, others go on mute. Yeah, I have been hearing somebody's mic. Somebody's rubbing off on their mics a little bit. Yeah, that will be nice. Would it be advisable to talk about fees during a membership campaign for those who have already attended a few meetings? Pawan, I wish I had a silver bullet answer to your question. Let me put it this way. If you were in their seats, how will you approach it? Would you like it if somebody started talking about money? There are different ways you can actually talk about the fees. I think there is it has to be balanced, because they should not feel like you are selling something to them. You're only telling them, see, again, I loved what DTM Partha said today. We are getting in individuals, not for our gain, but for theirs. Only if they become members, can they actually make use of this platform. I think that must be the crux of your message, Pawan. However you put it, I will leave it with you, because individual people have different styles of doing it. There may not be a silver bullet. I don't think this is an yes or no answer. You must eventually, they must eventually pay. But how do you tell them? Yeah, that's something you have to walk the fine line. Mayur Venkatesh has raised his hands. Mayur, you can actually talk.
Yes. To
Yes,
add
please.
to the question that Pawan has asked, we are not running a charitable organization. We need to pay Toastmasters International. So as a salesman, even I have actually gone through this conundrum. When I was the vice president membership last term, and when I used to talk to the potential members, I used to have this conflict as to when to bring about this discussion about money. But at the end of the day, what matters is if they want to join the organization and if they want to benefit, you will have to talk about money sometime or the other. So once, not in the beginning, but once you have actually proposed what the organization is all about, once you've told what we do, it is better to actually talk about money, and you tell them that even though you are investing, you are investing for yourself, and the benefit is all for you. That is what I would like to tell Pawan.
Thank you so much, Mayur. By the way, Mayur, your audio quality is so good. I don't know if you're talking from a recording studio. That's really nice. Thank you. Yes, Mayur, completely agreed. I also see that Pawan has framed his question very specifically. Now, when you spoke, Mayur, I could see that dimension. He's asking, this is talking about money to people who have already attended a few meetings. Yes, Mayur, we must. What I am saying is, what are the words you use to talk to them? How do you put it forward? Have some thought behind it before you actually tell them, right? Like Mayur said. So guys, we are not a charity organization, but remember, TMI is actually a non-profit organization. So you need to be able to speak in such a way that you don't sacrifice the reputation of TMI, but at the same time, you also tell people this is not a free ride. You have to become members. You have to buy into the policies, buy into the vision of this forum before you take it forward. Of course, we'll also hear some things on these same lines from Partha as well. And I will, he has more experience, of course, and he may be able to tell us a little more on when do we take this conversation and if there is a best practice for that conversation. But thank you, Pawan. Lovely question there. I loved how you had framed it. A couple of points I will still take up. Bharani has says, how long can we allow a guest to attend and they drag paying? How to handle such a situation? Yeah, like I think DTM Gayatri touched upon it briefly. Don't allow guests to continue for, let's say, more than 5 meetings without a promise, more than 10 meetings without paying. Of course, you cannot close the door or the Zoom meeting and stop people from attending. That will become very insensitive. We don't do that here, but at least every meeting impress upon them that they have to become a member or they cannot continue. Don't give them any roles. Don't give them any speaking opportunities. And I sincerely believe, I think people will get fatigued after a while. Okay, don't take it out of context. I'm not saying don't allow guests to speak or play roles. I'm saying if even after 10 plus meetings, the guest is not committing to join as a member, if the guest is not showing any motivation or stimuli to continue with the forum as a member, then we cannot open our doors and give our privileges to a non-member as well. And I, at least in my 8 years, have not seen any member more than 10 meetings, coming continuously attending without a promise or without an agreement. So if you find that situation, it's a very tricky spot to be in, but I'm sure assertiveness is the best way to handle it. Don't be aggressive, don't be submissive, be assertive, tell them very firmly, I can't stop you from joining the meeting, of course. You can, but you can't even become a TT speaker, or you won't be able to take anything else out of this forum. Okay, he's got answered my question too, Bharani. Okay. Does guest fee help? Yeah, definitely, especially for community clubs, the guest fee does help a lot because ultimately you're taking that fee to do something for your members. A guest fee is another way, Bharani, in getting people to become members, right? So, for example, I used to visit Chennai Speakers Forum a lot. So my first Toastmasters meeting was in 2010. I registered as a member in 2012. Some of my best friends between these 2 years were from Chennai Speakers Forum. So every Sunday when I used to go and attend, they used to charge 100 rupees as membership fee. Today you go to Meraki, it's almost the same thing. The membership fee is there, and it is one of the reasons why you will consider becoming a member. Oh, I would rather become a member and pay the membership fee, and then I can do prepared speeches, I can do roles, I can get all access instead of just paying up a token fee to be a table topic speaker. Yeah, that's something. On that angle, it will work. Also, for the club to run your club business effectively, to be able to help people more, as a token of respect for the efforts that you put in to engage a member, of course it will help. How much? Again, I will leave it to you, individual clubs. Different clubs have different expenses and you have different policies. I will leave it to you as a club to decide that. Most of the current does not use the meeting effectively, and finally they do not renew a membership as well. They feel TMI is not helping them. What could be done? Chetan, that's a very powerful statement you are saying there. Negatively powerful. Yeah, or I should say, very negative image that comes up. So one of the things that we must then definitely look at in your sentence is, why do they feel TM is not helping them? We must have a conversation to people who have this opinion. Two things might happen out of that conversation. One, maybe we mistakenly thought they had this feeling. Maybe they didn't think TMI was not helping. They just thought TMI is not the place for me. I belong to a different kind. Maybe I don't like this forum or whatever. So at least it's not negative. Second, there might be something in their minds. Something might have happened among F, E, E, and S. Probably the embrace, where they didn't feel they belonged here. They didn't feel they got equal opportunities. They didn't feel respected. So we must have conversations with people who have some negative energy in them. It is our responsibility as individual club members, as ExCom, so, guys, what's up? Maybe as club we are doing something wrong. That conversation will be a great step forward to improve or to change someone's mind. So that is what I would suggest, Chetan. Vignesh, 100 to 250 is is a reasonable number, I would imagine. Again, I am not in your shoes, Chetan. Vignesh, I don't know. Anything between 50 and 150 is what I feel. If you keep it as 250, right, people might not walk in. There is that danger. Okay, I'm also looking at time. I think I have to hand it over. So basically, it's saying they're not using the opportunity, but it will reflect only during renewal period. Yes, but have this frequent conversation with them, Chetan. The earlier we talk with someone, the better we are able to understand, and the earlier we can find it out. With that, I have to take a pause at this point, and we'll have to move into our next segment, which is a very special campaign. It's called the Back to Home campaign, and I would hand it over back to our CGD, DTM Partha, to explain a little bit about that campaign, and we'll come back and share some views again. Over to you, DTM Partha.
Thank you so much. Let me share my screen. Well, you all listened to an enriching experience from distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri, and you also had the enthusiasm of distinguished Toastmaster Raghavan. In fact, I could see glimpses of the quizmaster in Raghavan who's coming up. Like you would ask, okay, what is E? You're pretty close. That's a clue from my end. Well, he is actually how would I say, a seasoned quiz master as well, and that's probably why you would see those glimpses in his presentation. So good job, Raghavan. So you already had all these friends. You already had the experience from Gayatri, the enthusiasm from Raghavan. So what to get back to home? So that's why you have me there. Back to home campaign. Back to home campaign. It is pretty straightforward. The intention of this is to reach out to Toastmasters, past Toastmasters, especially who had left out from Toastmasters in the last 1 year, and to help them that they can continue in their Toastmasters journey and still be benefited. The question will come is, why are we doing this? Why do we have a back to home campaign? It all ties up again back to our mission of Toastmasters, where we want to empower individuals to become better communicators and leaders. So there is no difference. We want to make sure everybody is, whether they are Toastmaster, not a Toastmaster, a past Toastmaster, that they can still become empowered. Now, when an employee, if you look at any organization, let's say a typical software consulting firm, an employee who has been with the organization for 5 years, when such an employee leaves the organization, the first thing the organization will do, or probably the HR in the organization will do, is when they know that the person is leaving 2 months notice period, put out that person's profile or the job profile which is required. They put it in the market, and hopefully they should be getting some responses, and they should be backfilling that in a couple of months. Now that is possible because in a software industry, you can get a person with the same job profile, you can get somebody who has that relevant work experience, you can get somebody who brings in something new to the organization. But just imagine a Toastmaster who has had 5 years of experience in Toastmasters, and then they leave the organization, they leave the club. Now, when they leave the club, they leave the organization, that 5 years of Toastmastering is not something you can easily equate with another person or by just having another new member in Toastmasters. Because there's literally treasure houses of knowledge. They would actually have, it's not just about those 5 years of the time that they have been, but imagine how much they would have learned in this whole period, and how much of information, how much of knowledge that they can actually share. And this is perfectly emphasized by our district director, Toastmaster Praveen Mani, who gave this analogy of comparing for an organization, a software or consulting firm, and to a non-profit organization, Toastmasters, because we are unique in the sense where you cannot learn Toastmastering outside Toastmasters. Maybe you can learn communication, you can learn certain skills, but in Toastmasters, we learn methodology, we learn how we can learn to help others. So that's something which is unique in Toastmasters, and that's how we have learned so far. Now, when we're looking at past members, already know the advantages of Toastmasters. Now, instead of as compared to a new member, these people already know what is the advantage of Toastmasters. And I'm not talking just in terms of knowing what is the role of an hour counter or role of an hour timer. No, that's not just what I mean. But they understand that we can really learn by helping others, that we can definitely give them back by being part of the fraternity. So that thing which is there in our past members. And that's why we have this particular campaign, so that we can ignite that spark in them, to show them back, show them the glimpse of what was there, still what is there, and so that then they can decide whether they would want to join. And then when they join, they become more fulfilling, more enriching, and they will have a wonderful experience for us to share. To be very frank, even I had situations where I had gone. I had situations, I had been out. Give me a minute. Fine, thank you so much. Situations where I had to be out of Toastmasters because I had some assignments, probably for a couple of years as well in the United States. So in those instances, I did feel that I was probably out of Toastmasters. And then it strike me that Toastmasters is there everywhere. And I did outside in the US as well. They joined a community club there. So this is an experience which I perceived. And so I have also been part of, not part of this particular campaign this year, been back to home in some variation or the other. And I really realized made a big difference in what I perceived earlier and what I could bring in with the year to come in Toastmasters. So that was my experience. So let me ask here Raghavan and Gayatri here. Let us hear from them on their experience as well on back to home, or what are their thoughts on this particular campaign.
Thank you. Thank you so much, DTM Partha. Of course, this is, like I said, a very exciting campaign for me at least. I loved how our district director, Praveen, talks about this analogy. And until he spoke about that analogy, I never really thought of it that way. If you lose a 5-year-old Toastmaster, you can't backfill them, so to speak. That's the corporate word, isn't it? You can't really backfill them. It takes you 5 years before you backfill somebody like that. And that's such a powerful thought. And I think very important aspect of the Back to Home campaign, Partha, is what you showed on the screen, the question on why somebody left. I think this is what, if I were to run a Back to Home campaign, I will start off there. Trying to talk to members who are not with the forum anymore, or not with the club anymore, but still around in order to be able to reach them. Because there are some people in colleges. If you graduate out of the college, you may not become a member of the college. You may not be able to. If you are left the organization, it might not be possible for you to go and talk to them again. Or maybe you can, maybe you can't. But at least I think I'll ask that question. Why did they leave Toastmasters? Because what you were and what you are could be two different things. So what your club was when the Toastmaster chose to leave, and where your club is today could be two different things. So we need to understand if it was their own decision, if they didn't want to be associated with the brand anymore, or they had other priorities in life, or they just felt they were not getting enough in this forum, or maybe just lack of awareness. They can continue even after their boss has said, okay, you have learned now, you need not continue. They can still actually continue. Maybe they don't know it, or maybe there are different things. Maybe they don't know enough about Pathways today. Maybe they think virtual meetings are not really great. Those are all misconceptions, right? Because Pathways is amazing and virtual meetings is absolutely lovely. And that's the only reason why I'm here on a Sunday midnight, right? 10 a.m. in the morning, all of us are here. So there are so many advantages as well. So Partha, I think when I talk about Back to Home campaigns, asking the question of why, being able to have a conversation with someone reachable, it resonates a lot with me. I think that's the first tangible thing we might be able to do. And the answer that comes out of it might give us a lot of action items. But also I'm really interested in trying to ask what DTM Gayatri feels, because this is a complete dimension that she brings into the table. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
Hey Raghavan, I am also very excited about this new campaign because a senior Toastmaster is definitely a different kind of a brand ambassador when it comes to Toastmastering. So if you enter a club and then you realize that there are people who are in Toastmasters for like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, the feeling is very, very different. So when you hear from them, it's always different because it makes us curious. If 20 years, if somebody is in Toastmasters, then it should have a lot of things. It's not just a tag role or just a prepared speech. So for this campaign, what I feel is it's a very nice initiative, and it gives us an opportunity to connect back to people who have left the fraternity for some reason or the other, but they might have forgotten the reason, or they might be waiting for an opportunity to come back. So I would probably go back and see who were all the members earlier for a considerable period, at least like 1 year, 2 years, and then they gave up. And more importantly, there may be people who have not renewed just last term, but they were active until last to last term. So those are very potential members who may be willing to come back. They, I mean, sometimes it may be just a phone call that they're waiting to join back. So I would probably call them and say, not ask them to take up membership again, but I would actually ask them to join a couple of meetings. And ask them to get that feedback. We could probably say there is a special session coming up and we are doing this campaign and we want to reach out to people, and that's why we are calling you. Many people will feel privileged just with that call. The flip side or the challenge may be that there may also be people who may not be willing to come back at all. They may be like, I am done with Toastmasters, don't disturb me anymore. But I still feel it's worth reaching out to them, because if not for Toastmasters, at least there may be some value addition from them. For example, if you talk to somebody from your company who has left the company and is not part of your corporate club, you could probably ask them to come back and share their experiences, how Toastmasters helped them. They may be at a very, I mean, it's very likely that they will be at a very higher position than what they were here. So seeing their growth will inspire people at our club also. So that's also a good thing. And in case you're from a corporate club and your previous members have already left the organization, you can still invite them back to your club, and if they are interested, refer them to a community club. After all, it's not just our club membership that we are talking about. We are talking about bringing back old members. Again, similarly, colleges. So it's a very beautiful opportunity for you to connect with your super seniors. You can talk to them, and you may even, I mean, college students may even be able to create a alumni group or get opportunities in terms of internship. It would be a very good icebreaker to start with. And if you see that they're still in town, invite them for a meeting. Now with online meetings, it's even easier to get people on board. And finally, I would say there are a few resources. Like you have access to see the rosters or the club history from the portal, and you can go and refer to the presidents. And it is very likely that every president and the vice president education will have the roster of their term. With that, you can reach out to the old members, and then you can always use your connections in Facebook or any social media. But I would say reach out to old members, at least few of them, and see if they would be willing to join back. Two good potential members, some people who have been there for a long time, 2 to 3 years, and then they gave up. And people who have just not renewed in the last term and they were active until the previous term. Both of them are very likely to come back only if we reach out to them. And it's a very nice initiative. I think we should go back and connect with our seniors and understand. That's what I feel. Yeah.
I actually, when you were talking, I remembered something from my own experience, Gayatri. I started off with this club called Logica Toastmasters Club. Today it is CGI Toastmasters. I was there as a member between 2012 and 2014, and then I had left the company, and I was a member at Chennai Speakers Forum. Around that time, in 2015, I got married. And there was a time when I was really sluggish. I wasn't attending meetings. I was almost losing touch with Toastmasters Club. That's when CGI, some of my previous friends, they had called and said, we have a milestone meeting and we are trying to bring in all of the charter members and members who are fundamental in bringing the club up. So can you come attend the milestone meeting? And I was telling them, I'm not even a regular Toastmaster. It's been about 3-4 months since I've not even attended a meeting, but they said, come in. So I went in, and then it felt like suddenly there was that energy. I was looking around, there were so many people, the sense of celebration, the table topics gave such a thrill, evaluations were so lovely. And then it sort of, I started feeling guilty. I was like, okay, I must go back. This is where I belong. This is my home. And I know I've never stopped since then. So very lovely point there, Gayatri, right? Trying to reach old members, bringing them back. And I can see a comment from Vignesh Raja as well, who says communication is the key. I think you beautifully covered both those points. Thank you so much. So I think we have covered all of these campaigns. Why don't I ask ATM Gayatri one more time to summarize the journey that we took from 10 a.m. in the morning until now, and then we will quickly get some questions also. But before that, I think we have to go back to Partha also. I know, yeah, Partha, I have not forgotten. I was just trying to bring it in the last. But yes, Partha, screen is yours. And then we will go to Q&A and then come to summary.
Yeah, thank you so much, Raghavan. Seems a bit noisy today, Sunday. I think squirrels are all already in their high peak noise here. Okay, a quick recap of rather why we on the Back to Home campaign. What, as Raghavan said, we need to understand why people had actually left Toastmasters. So probably they must have they were done with Toastmasters, or they had to leave the organization, so they were out of Toastmasters, or they were just probably taking a break. And how to engage them back? We'll have to let them know that circumstances, to see if the reason why they left, have the circumstances changed. Let them know of new programs that have been introduced, pathways, or the online meetings. Get list of past members. Like we said, if you need any help, the club growth team can actually help in getting the list of past members for a club. You may call, email them to reach out. And then for special occasions, you may just give a call for them to just join back. This is something which I felt we could do as part of Back to Home campaign. And thank you so much, Gayatri and Gavan, for sharing your thoughts. Now, before we move on to questions, we need to take a quick minute, one moment. I need to just tell me it's just too noisy background right now. You know, we can just have a quick change. Is it a very noisy background for me?
We do hear some noise, but I think it's okay.
It's manageable. Okay. Then what we can do is we'll just move on to our one slide which we wanted to share. One point we wanted to cover in our meeting. Let me my screen. Yes, so we did see the three types of, rather three situations in which we want to have members. So wanted to let you all know about the Smedley Award, which is the award from Toastmasters International. Now, Toastmasters International gives you membership awards, or rather tries to recognize clubs which improve their membership. We have Smedley Award, we have Talk Up Toastmasters, and then we also have our Beat the Club Award. Talk Up Toastmasters is the month of February. Okay. So probably somebody else also had another point to make. Thank you so much. And I will getting back to this. So we are talking about Talk Up Toastmasters, which happens in the month of February and March, and Beat the Clock Award, which is again based for in June, because that's the end of the year, and we want to get as much of members at that point of time. But nevertheless, now we are here to talk about Smedley Award, which is actually running from the month of August 1st to September 30th. That is, it should be starting from next week till the end of next month. And this is an award which is again given for adding 5 new members. Now, when I say 5 new members, it can be totally 5 new members altogether, or it can be a dual member who wishes to join your club along with another club, or it can be like our Back to Home campaign, a reinstated member as well. So we can have any type of member. All these three, they would all come under a Smedley Award. Remember, in the month of August and September, if you have transfer membership, that would technically be a Smedley, would not qualify for a Smedley Award. So they have to be one of these three, new, dual, and reinstated. It shouldn't be a transferred member. What is one is when you add 5 new members to your club between August and September, it is an automatic recognition from Toastmasters International. So they would see that you have added 5 members, and they would have a Smedley Award ribbon shipped directly to your club, to president or whoever's address is there on the club roster. So they would send that information right away. And you'll also get a 10% discount of the next order that you place with Toastmasters International for your club. So together, it becomes, you get a ribbon, plus you get the discount of your next club order. Now, why is this Smedley Award an advantage? If you look at it, when you want to start off, This is at the beginning of the year. So when you already have 5 members at the beginning of the year, that means you're off to a good start at the beginning itself. So you don't have to worry about adding new members, because you might have a plan in your English club program to add 8 members altogether. So when you already have these 5, you already made a good start at the beginning of this year. That's an advantage. Number 2, when you do a campaign at the beginning of the year, in case you want to make a change somewhere along the line, then it is easier for you to switch gears and make a change at that point. So you already tried something. If you want to try something more, it's a good opportunity to change something the next time. So you'll know if something is working or something is not working, rather than waiting for the next renewal cycle, waiting later on time to actually have this renewals done. Okay. So this is precisely what we wanted to cover about our sessions today. And I would like thank you so much for this session. And now I'd like to open the questions for Q&A. If there are any questions, we are ready to take it from now.
I'd like to ask one question. I'm Ramesh from Vestas Toastmasters Club.
Go ahead, Ramesh. Go ahead, Ramesh, please.
Yeah. You talk about the different awards like Medley Award, Talk of the Toastmasters Award, and so on. And those awards are specifically mentioned for a particular period of time. So apart from that, if members are joining, new members are joining, or maybe any members are joining the club, apart from the period mentioned for the awards, whether that will be accountable in some way or other.
Got it. We heard the question. Partha, do you want to respond to that? Partha is on mute.
Yeah, sure, Raghavan. So,
yeah, because the next question that is on the chat is also, I think, to you. So maybe both questions together.
Yeah, sure, Raghavan. Yeah, so thanks for the question. So when you're asking about the renewals, or rather the new members added at other times, this is the one which is Toastmasters identified and indicated for the awards. At all other times, they're all eligible for the Distinguished Club program, because we are looking at adding members throughout the year. So that's always a good event. But this is the period where it is actually recognized. And we have different programs within Toastmasters, that is within our district, where we recognize membership addition, and we also recognize any performance in adding new members. So all those things will definitely be counted if you're adding members at different times. But at this point, it is just the members addition from Toastmasters International for these 3 time zones that has been considered.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, Partha, there is a popular question about Rotary and TMI collaboration. At least 3 people are asking about it. Sushmita, Vignesh, and Mayur. Maybe you can address that as well.
Yes, that is true that we are getting into an engaging experience with working with Rotary partnership. Now it's more of Rotaract clubs which are right now reaching. The Rotaract is a set of people who are between the college, government, or other school at that school level. You call it Interact Club, and the regular ones are the Rotarians. In between, they have something called a Rotaract Club. So those are the age group who are typically reaching out to us on options from Toastmasters, or rather interaction with Toastmasters. And that's the one set of people we are looking at. It's still in an evolving stage, and we are working with some Rotaract Club to have a demo meetings. So it's just like starting a new club, and in future, a lot of information between Rotarians and Toastmasters will be shared, and then we should be able to see how that advantage goes on in future. So it's a lot of things which is evolving. Right now, we are working with some Rotary clubs. One we have right now working in Coimbatore. So we're already working on those Rotaract clubs, and we want to have them also meet just like in a Toastmasters forum, and then see the benefits of Toastmasters for them. So that's what is happening. It's just something is evolving, and yes, we are looking at as an opportunity to grow and bond together and grow together.
Thank you for
look
that.
out for more information about it in the near future.
Thank you. Guys, any other questions you can ask, unmuting your mics, or you can even type on the chat.
I have a question. Hi, this is Mayur from Coimbatore Toastmasters Club.
Hi, Mayur.
Yeah. So actually, during the March renewal itself, I was a vice president membership, and I had a proposal for reducing the membership fees. We actually charge $45 plus some amount. So my proposal was we could, since we have gone online and our expenditures have gone down, we could go down on our renewal fee. So that could be a little bit beneficial. But in our ExCom, we were unable to pass this resolution, and we were unable to implement it. But does the district have any suggestions for this?
Thank you for the question. Again, as you asked, right now we also checked with Toastmasters. They were also when we had our CEO Dan Rex here, we did ask this particular questions. So right now, Toastmasters, they do not have any plans as such for reducing or changing on the membership, because this is all based on the membership is actually based on their basic necessity of making sure they're able to make ends meet, that they don't have, more or less it's all break-even based. So right now they said there's no change in the membership that they're doing, but we did ask them to consider some other benefits, and we are working. For example, we did pursue saying that instead of having to pay, is there, for people who have actually renewed this term, is there a path which they can get, or a concession for a path that they can get? So that way it encourages them to continue being with Toastmasters, or be an incentive to continue with Toastmasters in these times. So we are working different options, and right now from Toastmasters International, they have not told any change of fee structure. But again, it is left to the clubs to actually work out what is extra fees that they would need to run a club. So you definitely have reduced costs for meeting, because you do not have you do not need typically a venue cost which you have, or an operational cost that you will have. So you can definitely work towards that. Normally, a district doesn't involve in a club's views or club's affairs. So it's up to the club to take a decision on what is the fees that they want. So that is the part which you can definitely take on. And from the Toastmasters International, that they have given this for a right time being, they have not made any change to the membership fees as such, because it's at a break-even point. So that's what is the communication that has come. So you can definitely look at options from your club perspective, if you can reduce those club fees, and if that will still help people, if it will attract more people to continue with Toastmasters. Yes, definitely that will help.
Thank you, Partha.
You're welcome.
Hi, Partha. This is Kundavi.
Yeah, Kundavi.
I have a question. In case there are some sick clubs who are suffering to maintain their members, or trying to add more members, and they are finding it really difficult for due to multiple reasons, is it for them to approach you or the district for help, or is there any motivation or kind of effort taken from your side to reach those clubs which are suffering? Do you take into account or reach out to you on your own, or you expect the club to come to you for help?
Yeah, Kundavi, thanks for that question. So if you're asking about weak clubs or sick clubs which would need support from the district, is that the question that you're asking?
So it will be coming to your knowledge now that which clubs are suffering, right?
Correct.
Not if it is suffering with 12, 13, 14, or whatever it is. So do you expect those clubs to come to you?
From correct. So exactly thanks for confirming that, Kundavi. So we do have in Toastmasters a club coach program. So this is typically for clubs which have less than 12 members, and where we feel that they would need some extra support in terms of having a club coach. So when we have this club coach program, that is intended for persons to actually visit these clubs, maybe in person or maybe virtually, where they can go to these clubs, identify the root causes of this membership dip, and see if they can bring them back to or at least a distinguished club status, or at least to a 20 member strength. So this is precisely the club coach program, and this information comes in both ways. That is, we do have our dashboard in which we see the list of all the clubs, and we have already reached out to our division directors to indicate that these clubs seems to be struggling. Can you indicate if we need to have club coaches, that we are ready to work with club assigning club coaches? So we wanted some more confirmation from the division directors, so that they will work with the area directors and then get back for those clubs. It can also come from the information can also come vice versa, that is from the area directors or from the division directors, that they need support for some clubs. So we'll have this club coach program specifically if the count is less than 12. If it is more than 12 and less than 20, then it is again part of our member retention team, and they will look at these clubs and see how we can bring them back to a good strength of 20. So it depends again where we are, but in all cases we are there always to help. So you can always bring it to our notice, or they're also reaching out to the division directors. So anyway, we want to cover those clubs. So we have that on our radar as such.
Partha, hi, this is Vignesh here from Chennai Articulators.
Yeah, Vignesh, before we move on, Kundave, are you fine with that?
Yes, Partha, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Vignesh, sorry.
Yeah, Partha, I understand the Toastmasters.org web portal has been designed in such a way that if I search the different clubs, you have this concept of 25 miles. So which means it's a physical concept. But coming to the virtual mode, it's not very intuitive to search for, international clubs. The reason is I have some friends whom I want to refer where they can attend some international forums as well. But I find it very challenging and the website is not very user-friendly. Is there a way by which this can be addressed, or is there anything which is being worked at all?
Okay, so this is precisely the question I posted to one of the international director candidates, that as the Toastmasters, we brand Toastmasters clubs, and the first search from a Toastmasters is to show you a club which is nearby. But is that the club which is actually running, functioning? Do we have any indication of that? So that's precisely, I think, is the question here as well. So yeah, we did have this concern, and we are reaching out to Toastmasters International on this, to actually indicate the quality of a club and which is club which we can also recommend to, and especially in this virtual forum. That's what is more or less important. So we are working, or rather we have told that as an information to Toastmasters International, and you can also feel free to write to Toastmasters International on that, on your thoughts as well. So they are always welcome to any inputs from your end. That's a site taken care directly from Toastmasters International, toastmasters.org. If we try to do something similar from our end, maybe that's something we can look at from the district perspective also. So thanks for your thought on that, and we are looking into that particular angle also.
Thanks, Partha.
Yeah, I wanted to ask one question to whoever brought this. I'm sorry I didn't get your name. But when you say that you wanted to search for a club, obviously when you go and search for it, there should be some criteria or some way, some reference, right? Some yardstick or some point of reference with which you search. What do you think would be the point of references for you? And what do you think you are trying to search for? Maybe that's a good input that would help as well if you are any time writing to TI or even sharing with us.
Yeah. So while I have checked it, in fact I have myself tried checking for different international forums. The initial context in which I was searching for was largely from understanding if we could do some virtual meetups. And interestingly, we tried doing it through the TMI portal, and trust me, it didn't work. So we had to do that extra effort of going through social media, and we pulled up. We did 2 virtual meetups, one with Malaysia and one with another international forum. So, but it was after extensive effort. I would have imagined that it would have been much more easier done through the Toastmaster portal itself. So I think that was one thought which I had. And likewise, when I said that when I have people whom I want to refer, I feel likewise they should be in an easier format where using just 2 or 3 search criteria, they should be able to arrive at it. So sometimes I felt that the contact numbers are not written properly, or the website details are not updated properly, or when do they actually have these events? Because while I still felt that they had the very archaic format of the physical event format. So they've not completely transitioned to the virtual mode. So that was my concern.
Yeah, so I don't mean to be defensive at this point, but I think I have to tell you a couple of things that Ericsson Toastmasters, I think my president took an initiative of. Maybe it's a good practice to share with each other. So like you said, we were also trying to reach out to the international community and see if we can do joint meetings. Two things happened. First of all, my president went to the TMI dashboard of our club and he had to manually change a few information that was posted there. Second, the Zoom IDs, we don't nowadays post it there because if we have to post it, we have to post it either with the password or risk being bombed by some unwelcome visitors, right? So he had posted that it is online and we are welcome to anybody who wants to join. And then I think the president was also able to find out I think it is not just 25 miles. If I'm not wrong, you can extend it up to 100 miles, I think. So he was able to go to clubs in America, the US, Dallas specifically, and then he avoided Seattle, I know, because the timeline was too big. But there is a coast in US which is 8.5 hours or something. And then we also went to Gurgaon and Bangalore, posted it, found few email IDs, wrote to them separate emails. Yes, it was an effort, but about 5-6 emails he had written. And 2 clubs had responded stating we would be really interested. And next week we are having a joint meeting with a club in Bangalore, and I am actually the TMOD for that meeting. So something like that. So there are 2 things. One, of course, like you said, the TMI website needs to adapt a few changes, of course. But there are also some steps I think we should do. And something that I learned from my president that was able to do a few things. And that effort is bearing fruit. So good discussion. Thank you. Completely understand your views. Let's also do something from our side and maybe we'll have the best of both worlds. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't get your name. Sorry.
Yeah, Vignesh here from Chennai Articulators.
Hi, Vignesh. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Vignesh. So we also have one more question on do we have a VPM WhatsApp group? I think when you had your OTP officers training program for every division, you must have most likely formed a WhatsApp group between VPMs of a particular division. And if you think that has actually helped, that's a good idea that we can do it for the whole district as well. And Raghavan, that's something you can take back from a member retention perspective. If you can have a VPM's WhatsApp group created, that should really help communicate in terms of what are the different campaigns that we're doing and how we could VP memberships or VP PRs can actually help. So that's something we can pick up from that point.
Noted.
Yeah, thank you so much, Raghavan. In the interest of time, I think we are nearly coming to the close of the session. And before we move on, we would like you to quickly look at our chat window. You should have got a URL where you can give your feedback. We would love to hear from you on your feedback of what do you think of this particular meeting. We want to see what are different things you found good and what are the ways in which we can improve. It's like a typical Toastmasters evaluation that we have. So please take a couple of minutes and go through that link and try to and do give your feedback for us. You also have the option of giving your name and club, or if you can even if you would like to remain anonymous, that's perfectly your wish. Okay, and have a question. Yeah, while you do the feedback, while you give us feedback, I have a question. Okay, that's about the VPM group. Do we have a recording of this session? Yes, we do have a recording of the session, thanks to our TLI crew, our team who is helping us in that regard. We do need to do some bit of editing there, and then we should have it pretty soon for the benefit of people who couldn't make it today. Okay, with that, I would quickly give the control to Distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri to go over whatever we did so far, and should quickly give a summary of it. Gayatri, the spotlight is yours.
Thank you, Partha. So, okay, we started a Sunday morning with a mathematical session. Let's summarize this all together. So what did we start with? LCM. What did L stand for?
Learning.
Learning. Okay. Okay. At least 2 people understood Raghavan. You should be happy. Okay. Just kidding. What about C?
Club.
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 Okay. M.
Members.
Members. Okay. So it's all about learning in the club. I mean, whatever we do should be either for the club or for the members or for the learning. And if you have that intention and take up your actions, it's all going to be fine. So Raghavan also talked about another mathematical jargon. The LCM is GE. And what does GE stand for?
Growth and excellence.
Growth and excellence.
Okay, growth and excellence. So this is where we started with, and then we started thinking about new member addition. So what were the 4 major things that we addressed in terms of new member addition?
Who, why, where.
Who, where, what, when, how, why. Okay, correctly 4 answers. First one was?
Who.
Who. Okay, second one?
Why.
When you add somebody, you should tell them my why, that is their why. So that was the why part that we addressed. But then the next part was, who are all the potential people? And then next question is?
Where.
Where, yeah, where to find them. And then the third one? What. Okay, so who are all the potential members, by the way?
Managers.
Everyone.
Managers. Okay, everybody. Yeah, actually, everybody is a potential member, be it a student or a homemaker or an entrepreneur or anybody can definitely benefit out of Toastmasters. And where do we find them, or where do we reach out to them?
By reaching out their checkpoints, like for managers, for the employees.
Okay, so you reach out to their influencers or the point of contact, and through your members. And the third part was how. So what do we do in how? Okay, and guest enters. What all should we do?
How to welcome them.
Okay.
Socialize.
Socialize and let them feel warm.
Yeah.
Allow them to come for 2 to 3 weeks, so 3 meetings.
Okay.
And we shouldn't talk about anything, give them only the experience.
Correct. Initially, don't talk about the membership, but after 3 weeks, definitely talk about it and don't prolong it. So I hope it's clear. And the final part of the VP PR responsibilities are, what are the PR responsibilities?
Publishing through social media like WhatsApp, Facebook, and also if it's a corporate club, then you have to post in company portals.
Company portals and any distribution IDs. Cool, super. And Vice President membership's responsibilities are?
Socializing with the members, and asking them to stay back after the meeting. If it extends, at least connecting with them through mobile or any other way.
Okay. Super. So making them comfortable and then being in touch with them through mobile or email and ensuring that they become a member. Okay. And final part, resources available in Toastmasters are in the website. And then I also spoke about one award. I think many of you were excited to know about it for the first time. That's good. So what was that award?
5 members in one term.
Add 5 member award.
Yeah, 5 member. Member sponsor is the name of the award, and if you add 5 members in a year, you will
5
get
member
that award.
sponsorship.
Correct. So okay. So after that, Raghavan came and spoke. So he again spoke about a jargon. What was that?
IFEES.
Peace. Okay. So F for
fulfill.
Fulfillment. E for
Elevate.
Elevate.
Elevate. Another E.
Embrace.
Embrace.
Embrace. And S for
Serve.
serve. Serve. Okay. What were the major points to consider in fulfillment? F.
To understand the needs of the members and fulfill.
He said one confusing or tongue twisting quote. If you get everything out of Toastmasters, you will not get out of Toastmasters. So you fulfill their needs, then it works. So the second part was to elevate. What do we have to do in to elevate the members? What is our primary focus when it comes to elevating members? Is to ensure that they get some value, to ensure that whoever is there, ensure that they grow in their Toastmasters journey. And then embracing. Okay, embracing, we have quite a lot of people in different aspects, and we have to ensure that everybody is taken care of. There may be a person who may not be very regular, but still will have something to take out of Toastmasters, so ensure that you identify them. And finally, yes, is serving. Serving is all about what we do to Toastmasters. Okay, and then we had a very interesting campaign. So what was the name of the campaign?
Back to home.
Okay, back to home. Thanks, Malar. So in that we had two things. One is what is this campaign about, and second is how to go about this campaign, how to ignite people with the fire or spark to bring in old members. I hope that summarizes what all we discussed. Of course, your question and answers had a lot of interesting aspects in terms of how you are thinking to bring in new members. I hope you all have a little more clarity to go back and work with your club, and if you do all those, you will be able to bring that coveted Smedley Award to your club. Don't miss that opportunity. It's your leadership journey challenge that you can work, and it is going to give you an immense satisfaction to see the members benefit out of Toastmasters, especially when you bring them and then they realize that they have found their better version through Toastmasters. It's going to be a life fulfilling journey. I hope you all enjoy doing that. If you have any queries, you can reach out to the district team. All our contact details are available on the District 120 website. So you can go there and check for our email addresses. And you will also have various forums in terms of WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups. You can always reach out to any of the district officer who you think would be able to help you out. So with that, I'll pass on the session back to our Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Partner.
Okay, thank you so much, Gayatri, for summarizing the entire session today. Before I move on, I would like everyone to make sure that you have given your feedback on the link. The feedback link is on the chat window. I can request Lloyd to put it again in the interest of a quick reference. So thanks to all thanks to the two trainers, Distinguished Toastmasters, Raghavan, Sridhar, and Gayatri, for your lovely sessions and making sure the Toastmasters here get the full benefit of understanding what is a club campaign and what are the different ways we can actually go about it. I also have to thank our PR team for the flyers that they made, which probably did a short time, but they did come up with some really good flyers that we had, and that they also made sure that was posted in different groups. And thanks to the division directors and the area directors for encouraging the club officers and the members to attend this particular program. Our Zoom master, who has been there to give the banner at the beginning with the welcome music to welcome all of us, and our own Distinguished Toastmaster Vadivel Ravanan, who was there to welcome all of us at the beginning of the meeting and then give the transition to everyone. And the TLI team, the Toastmasters Leadership Institute team headed by Lloyd, thank you so much for organizing this entire event in this platform and making sure we even have the link for the feedback. So from end to end, you had taken care and helped us all along. Thank you so much. And the timer, especially Toastmaster Sharif, for making sure that we are still keeping on time, and hopefully we should also conclude on time. And last but not the least, thanks to all the participants here who have been so energetic and so engaging in this whole session. In fact, Raghavan said, Partha, I want interaction. I really want, I don't want a webinar at all. I want a session where I can interact with all the Toastmasters. I want to hear them speak. So it was it's so much of an importance that we hear you speak, we hear you interact, and we get your input in all these sessions. We are coming to a completion of this particular session, this membership, or rather the club campaigns. But nevertheless, it is not an end. It is a starting. It's the start of the year, and this is where we start to learn, begin to learn the different options that are available. And I'm sure with this learning, we are there to master and ace the club campaigns. You will be getting more and more club campaigns and more information about different initiatives from the district. We have our TLI team also letting us know that there's a youth leadership program, which is probably planned in the next few weeks, or rather a session on how youth leadership program can be used. There are different initiatives that are being happening. So stay tuned to our district channels and all the methods of communication, and make sure you benefit and also help learn yourself and also help others learn. So with that, I would, if there is no other questions or rather no other points to be discussed, I would formally end the session. Thank you so much all for attending session, and have a great Sunday and have a great week ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.